So are you saying that you're not oppressed as a
No.
black man? No?
Succeeding despite oppression doesn't mean that you weren't oppressed. Winning, even though you were oppressed, doesn't mean that you weren't oppressed. People cheat and sabotage against you, and sometimes you can still beat those people despite them trying to cheat and sabotage against you. Does that mean that you weren't oppressed? Does that mean that you weren't harmed? Does that mean like the system wasn't working against you? Like, that's just stupid. Okay. All right. Get rid of chat. You think I should? Nah. That's part of the content. Maybe we gotta know. All right. So here we are. We're rewinding this right now.
They got to be my ally. I don't like you. You're must. No skin off my back. And why is that? It's because I don't live in this this day. And it was just funny because I'm not the type of person to really be violent. I'm 5'9".
That's pretty tall. I'm not that, so that's taller than me. It's funny because I used to do the pin of shame as well, but then I was like, you know what? Let me pin some inspiring comments. I don't want to pin these assholes, but I did when I was starting doing this YouTube stuff. I was like, I'm going to pin this comment because the way that I look at it is like, if you're comfortable and confident to say it, then why not let more people see it? I mean, you're saying it publicly as it is. It's not like it was private.
More people will agree with you. More people may say I'm in the wrong. It's happened before. I've pinned a comment and people were like, well, Leon, he actually got a point there. And it's like, oh, well, no skin off my back. And why is that? It's because I don't live in this atmosphere of I'm always right. I'm always right. You challenge me? How dare you? I'm always right because I'm this group and I'm oppressed.
So are you saying that you're not oppressed as a black man? No?
This what we're already. You're saying that you are not oppressed. And I think that's really dumb because it feels like they're already going to start the straw man portion of oppression is not about an individual, right? Like oppression is about whenever we talk about systemic oppression, it's oppression at a systemic level, right? Like the fact that you as an individual overcome things doesn't mean that you weren't oppressed. And it's really ignorant, right? Because like I always like think of this example, right? Say you say, hey, we're going to measure your times on this race. Okay, we're going to measure your times on this race, and at the end of the whatever your final score is, that's going to be the result we give you, blah blah blah, and then you'll compete whatever. And so we start all of their races and we count them, and so we get their times, but we don't tell one of the people that for your time, or I'm sorry, that we had you race longer than the other people, right? Now, maybe that person was so fast that he still beat the other person despite having a handicap of some kind, right? Or the other person having a handicap. That person can say, I don't feel like I was oppressed. But just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean that you weren't, right? Or maybe they just say, listen, we're going to secretly tax black people at a 10% higher rate. This is not actually happening. This is a hypothetical. Just want you to understand the hypothetical. Say they decide, we're going to secretly tax black people at a 10% higher rate. Maybe someone still becomes significantly wealthy in that situation. So they don't feel oppressed because they're doing significantly better than even the white population. Like for that person to say, I don't feel oppressed, like that's fine. But you don't have to be aware of oppression in order for it to happen. Succeeding despite oppression doesn't mean that you weren't oppressed. Winning, even though you were oppressed, doesn't mean that you weren't oppressed. People cheat and sabotage against you, and sometimes you can still beat those people despite them trying to cheat and sabotage against you. Does that mean that you weren't oppressed? Does that mean that you weren't harmed? Does that mean like the system wasn't working against you? Like that's just stupid. Like it means that the system isn't like foolproof so as to prevent literally every person from succeeding. Like you understand, like there was a system that prevented black people from learning to read, right? At a point. Some black people during that time when it was illegal to learn to read still learned to read. Does it mean that they weren't oppressed? Of course not. That's stupid. Some black people used to be slaves and escaped to freedom. Does that mean that they weren't oppressed at that point? Of course they were. And maybe they might be doing successful. Maybe they went on to be very successful. Does that mean that they were never oppressed? Of course not. That's not how oppression works. Simply saying, I've done these things on my own, like that doesn't mean that you weren't oppressed. That's stupid.
Sorry, black people who get mad at Gothix on Twitter. I don't know. Sorry, white people who think they got to be my ally. I don't like you. You're musty. You smell like Chinese food. I don't need your help. I'm in an apartment that I paid for. I just paid my rent again.
With your own money?
With my own money.
Oh, that's impressive.
And it's like, I ain't seen a white man stop me from getting this place.
Wow. Yeah, that's very inspiring. Okay. So I want to know, what is do people in your circle, like your family and your friends, know about your current content that you're doing?
No. My friends do. But that's mainly because I don't really talk about this. Like, it's not really something then I'm like, hey guys, look what I'm doing today. It's
Right.
really like they know, but it's like I'm not really invested in being like, hey, look at what I'm doing at this very moment. And I think that's really just me as a person. I've never wanted to be like everyone in my business 24/7. I want you to know what I'm doing so you know that it's not illegal, but I don't want you to think like you got to be up on my ass or I got to be up on your ass with everything I'm doing 24/7.
So do you think like if your parents found your videos, would they be like, "What the hell is my kid doing with this problematic content?" Do you feel like they would be like the Twitter warriors that you deal with?
Not at all.
Right.
I don't think
That's
they would
awesome.
care because I'm one of the people that's like, okay, you got a problem? Let's talk. Like I'm not interested in physicality unless you put your hands on me. I'm the dude who would sit down and be like, cool, let's chat, let's box it, let's chop the shit, all that. Because it's nothing more to me that can mean something than actually understanding somebody who's either thinking differently from me or has a different opinion from me. Which is back to that pinned comment that this angry person claiming that I'm bullying and sending harassment.
It's crazy because he's saying this. We're gonna see. We'll reach out to him. Let's see if he's actually interested in a conversation. I feel like a lot of times people are really reluctant to talk to people that disagree with them. But he's saying here that he embraces the idea of it. I'm gonna reach out to him. I wish my editor would do it, but it's okay. I'll do it. I'm gonna reach out to him. Let's see if he'd be willing to engage in a conversation. Both him and Gothix. I already reached out to her. I don't think she's responded. I don't think that they're actually really interested.
Claim that they sent me a message wanting to have a conversation. I haven't seen it. It apparently is buried in YouTube comments, which is the dumbest thing you could do because I have a public Twitter and Instagram.
Mhm.
There were better avenues for that, and so I don't really see
Mm.
how you were even attempting to hold a conversation with me. But
Yeah. I don't think they were, to be perfectly honest with you, because I've gotten that
Two,
too,
two
where
times.
people have seen my videos and they'll be like, I wanted to talk with her, but they'll go straight to uploading a video about me. And it's like, no, you know, you can find my email. You can just like, it's in my description. Like, it's not that hard. If you want to, you'll figure out a way. I think some people are just lazy and want to do all that. So I actually wanted to talk to you to pick your brain about some stuff because I'm sure you have seen all of the nonsense with Twitch and the Twitch hate raid scenario. You're familiar with this?
I'm loosely familiar, but I could get the grip of it.
Okay, very good. For people that don't know what that is, Twitch.tv is a gaming platform, and a lot of streamers were complaining because hate raids, basically a bunch of people commenting in the chat like you all are, were saying racist, homophobic things, whatever. But these people were making it out to be like this is something targeted specifically to marginalized people. I always got to do the quotes because I hate that term so much. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
What are you talking about? Are you not marginalized? Look at you.
No, no, I don't like butter. No, thank you. I
What are
do
you
not.
talking about? Look at you right now. You look so sad. If I'm putting on my white man's eyes, I'm looking at you right now, and I'm seeing a woman. I can't see you because glasses for a reason. You look really sad. It's because of my history of oppressing you.
Yeah, yes, correct, correct.
Do you need me at this current moment in time?
I do, I do. I need an ally to assist.
Join hands with me, ignorant black child, and I will be the one to lead you to the promised land of equality while I put on a monkey suit and throw eggs at a random black dude.
It's really dumb because when we talk about marginalized, people like pushed towards the edge of society. There are plenty of systems that actually did that. When we talk about marginalized people, like look at the system in which like people weren't able to buy property because of in certain areas and neighborhoods because of the fact that they were black, right? Like you were forced to be segregated and lived in places that were like where the infrastructure was bad. It's by definition marginalization. Let's look it up. I don't. Maybe I don't. I don't know if he maybe doesn't understand what the word marginalized means. Um, look it up. Like I feel like he can't. Um, to relegate to an unimportant or powerless position within a society or group. Well, capital. We're in a capitalist society. I think it's the best system, by the way. And in a capitalist society, the thing that determines success is typically going to be capital. Capital is another word for money. 70% of people's wealth portfolios are real estate. You literally wouldn't let black people buy houses. And the houses, if they ever did buy houses through other means, they had to buy them in specifically poor neighborhoods in which the houses didn't appreciate at the same levels and subject their children to poor education. Like education is one of the three leading factors in determining this long-term success and wealth of individuals. You prevented people from being able to get education by saying separate but equal. And then in those other establishments, you did everything to get rid of that. One of the best ways of like enfranchising yourself and exercising your power in this country is to vote. You created specifically harsh laws, literally killed people, or forced people not to be able to be employed or made them homeless as a result of them deciding to vote. And then as they like congregated in different societies or different little areas while they were like trying to transition for exercising their right to vote, you went there and murdered them. If I can't think what the hell is marginalization if not that? So now you took away their power and their exercise and their enfranchisement. You took away their ability to obtain capital. And this, by the way, happened 1 generation ago. My mother was alive while this was happening. What are we talking about? Now, that doesn't mean that marginalized people, like, they can't find ways to succeed. look at like the Cinderella story, right? Cinderella was a marginalized person. She was powerless and being abused by a freaking stepmother, and she was eventually became successful. Does that not mean that she was oppressed and marginalized originally? Come the freak on. Rags to riches stories are inspiring for a reason. That doesn't mean that marginalization didn't cause those rags, right? Come on.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yes, Twitch. There was a Twitch hate raid, and lots of content creators were boycotting Twitch this past week because they were under the impression that this hate is specific towards marginalized creators, mostly Black people and the LGBT crowd. Little do these individuals know that hate is something that's just a part of the game of content creation. Everyone kind of gets it, and I think I'm starting to feel like the people that don't complain about it give off this impression to the complainers that everything they're experiencing is because of them, because of their skin color, their gender, or whatever. But that's just you just get hate. You either deal with it or you don't. So I wanted to.
There's a difference between the hate and just like kind of harassing a person because you don't like their content, and there's a difference in a different type of hate where you're like hating someone specifically because of like uncontrollable characteristics like blackness, like you're black or you're gay or you're transgender or you're whatever the freak, right? Like there's a difference in those kinds of hate, and these things were specifically targeted because the type of hate raids they were doing, all of the bots were named things like N-word, and or they would be things targeting specifically like Jewish people, and they would say things like Hitler did nothing wrong or the Holocaust didn't happen. They would they would rate trans people and ask them if they still had a penis and things like that. Like they were targeted. When I got hate rated, it wasn't just like, oh, some random things about, hey, you suck, right? Like that would have been one thing, but no, it was specifically like spamming the N word and you doing swastikas and things like that. So like it was directly targeted towards those people. Yes, online it's just a pretty hateful space, so people are likely to receive a lot of hateful comments and things like that. But that's not enough. Like it's more than that. I would say disproportionately, people receive a different kind of dehumanizing hate when they find out that they're people of color. Like it's one thing to be like, dude, you suck at that's Call of Duty. It's another thing when they can tell by your vernacular or your tone, and they start saying you're an N word, or saying that you have no dad or things like that. Those kind of things are totally different, and try to equate those two as either ignorant or just, I don't know, apathetic, or I don't know what the freak.
Talk to you about this because I saw this come across my screen before we got online, and it is. Let's actually do this. Here we go. All right. Oh, that looks like shit. I'm gonna do this. All right, I lied. Let's do this. Okay, so Twitch sues over alleged hate raids against streamers. Interesting. So it looks like it says,
Wait.
yeah, they're suing.
Who are they suing?
Twitch resorted to the legal system, suing two alleged hate raiders for targeting Black and LGBTQIA. That's a lot of freaking letters. Streamers with racist, homophobic, sexist, and other harassing content in violation of terms of service. So basically, they said mean things. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there's an echo. There's an echo. Oh, what the hell? Hold on a second. Oh, now it's gone. Okay, it's gone. All right, perfect. I don't know what happened.
Lovely.
All right, so yeah, so Twitch is apparently suing two of the raiders. I don't know how they figured out who that was, but it says, we hope this complaint will shed light on the identity of the individuals behind these attacks and tools that they exploit, dissuade them from taking similar behaviors to other services, and put an end to these vile attacks against members of our community. So basically, these Twitch streamers have never, don't have much experience on the internet or in a Call of Duty lobby, because I have heard many things that were inappropriate, and it's just a part of becoming a gamer. That's it. What do you have to say about this? Like, do you think this is, what do you have to say? I want your opinion.
One, it's better to get rid of this. Like obviously, sending hate raids or sending racial slurs to anybody, not good, not fun. Don't advocate, don't advertise. Jesus Christ, how are you going to play this out? Like, because there's more, not to this, but the thing that really gets me is that these people live in this weird dynamic of, oh, this is new to me, and I'm so perplexed, and now I can't stream or focus because I'm getting the same words spammed to me 15 times, and I don't know how to handle that. You could just ignore it. You could ban them. Sure, they'll come back. Sure, there's a tool set up to ban words, and maybe they'll find a way around that and come back again. My advice, deal. You can't really do anything about it. Hopefully this lawsuit exposes whoever is the mastermind and it stops.
But this is one of the problems. It's really crazy to me. I get incredibly uncomfortable talking about things that I know literally nothing about. And clearly this guy doesn't know anything about it, right? Because like it wasn't just about like just someone saying words over and over again. Is that it would literally like send off your host message all over again, which was incredibly disruptive if you were playing music or if you were in the middle of speaking and now you have this sound effect going off on a regular basis. So then at that point, then you have to turn that thing off. So it's like, okay, good, I'll turn that off. Then the next thing they do is they start rating regularly. Now, rating is part of the community, and it's one of the things that like makes you sort of like interact with other streamers and kind of support other streamers and things like that. And so it's important to acknowledge that some of the motivation behind rating is that when you rate another person, one, your viewers are exposed to them, and hopefully they're a good enough person that your viewers would want to interact with them when you're not live or while you're live or whatever, depending on which of you are doing the kind of content that they want, that they enjoy. Secondly, it's also a way for them to acknowledge you and for you to show that you're supporting them and all of that thing for the individuals, for the streamers, and the content creator community. So once you have to turn those things off, then you're not aware necessarily of all the streams because you've removed the alerts, or else you're going to be constantly spammed with the N word, right? So it's not just that it's, oh man, it's something that you just have to deal with. It's that it literally is disruptive to the content creation. Imagine I'm in the middle of an actual conversation dealing with someone with some serious topics, like some actual ridiculous person coming up with some nonsensical allegations about a content creator on this platform, trying to say that this person was a sexual harasser while fabricating stories and having backstories, and I'm trying to explain to people the details of that before they jump off the conclusion and continue to try to take away this person's platform and ruin his livelihood. And while I'm doing that, I'm getting all sorts of people that are like spamming the N-word and things in my chat and disrupting me from actually speaking, in a pretty serious situation where serious allegations are made and people are literally considering removing the person's platform. That actually happened to me, right? So it's not about the hate. I don't care about people saying hateful things. I was in the fighting game community and I played Marvel 2. There's no way I'm concerned about the words of some random individuals, but it is disruptive. Furthermore, not everybody's going to be like me. Not everyone has like the fortitude to be able to handle the like everyone like saying incredibly hateful things to them. Some people are particularly sensitive, and I don't think we should be demonizing people for being somewhat sensitive. Are you going to need rougher skin on the internet? Obviously, but to just completely dismiss it like, no, it's not a big deal. You guys just you got to grow with it and just deal. I think that's dismissive what this issue actually was. It was largely harmful to a bunch of creators. It would scare some people away. There were people that didn't understand the history of these hate raids and felt like they wanted to not be on the platform anymore because it felt like it was too disruptive. So they just wanted to go over to YouTube where that type of hate raid wasn't the same thing, where it wasn't occurring. This could discourage people from being on the platform. It was disruptive. There were some people who decided to just take a break from streaming because it was incredibly disruptive to their platform. People who weren't particularly savvy. And then if you're trying to have a stream where it's like positive, I've seen people get banned over hate raids. Someone literally continue to follow someone and keep putting homophobic slurs on their content, and it's like, man, they weren't aware of it. Like the bot read something homophobic because it was just on their platform, like through a donation, and they lost their platform for it. There are dangers and harms with this. I want to know why you'd be so dismissive. I don't get that.
But for the moment in time, what are you gonna do? Stop streaming because hashtag a day off Twitch worked wonders. You all made that generic statement for the length of a piss and then went right back to streaming. So either it was so toxic you can't stream anymore, or it was BS just so that you could get a hashtag going.
So this thing
Not necessarily. It could just be to raise awareness about something. I disagree with the hashtag that they did, and I disagreed with the stop streaming. Fortunately, I didn't know about it until like someone asked me at like 80 when I was 80% done with my stream why I wasn't taking part in it. I wasn't aware. I didn't know anything about it, but it didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like Twitch was responding. You see, they've sued the people. They've always responded to these things in the past. It just needed to be patched out because people found a way around this hate mob nonsense. Then so they were doing it again. Like I don't know. I just felt like when someone is appropriately responding, the idea that you would chastise them or try to punish their platform just seems completely ridiculous to me.
goes on to say that Thursday's lawsuit, which was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California, targets two users identified only as cruise control and creatine overdose. They sound like Jim Bros, whom Twitch believes are based, yes, they are, respectively, in the Netherlands and Vienna, Austria. Twitch in the suit says it initially took swift action by suspending and
Why
then
would you say they're based for hating people?
permanently banning their accounts. However, it reads they evaded Twitch's bans by creating new alternate Twitch accounts. I think, from what I'm reading so far, this sounds like a complete waste of time because after you're done suing them, like at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're saying mean things. I don't care if it's homophobic, racist, whatever. They're still words, and they're not inciting any.
It's not just mean things. They're completely disrupting someone's content, and this is literally how some people make a living. Some people literally make millions of dollars on this platform. Some of these people were incredibly like this was their livelihood, and these people were disrupting their livelihood. It's not just that simple. Please stop.
Anything. You can't, it's not like a threat against anyone. They're just words. So if they're going to sue these people to ensure that they stop doing it again, okay, what next? What happens when the next batch of trolls come in? Because I've had people say racist stuff in my chat. In fact, before, I remember clear as day, before I got to 10,000 followers.
This is so reductive. It's not just about people saying hateful stuff in your chat. It's literally disrupting the stream. Come
followers
on.
on Twitch. I was like, I only needed like 50 more. And that day, I got hate rated by like 3,000 bots at once, and they were all saying racist shit. And they actually all followed me. So it inflated my follower count for no reason. I was kind of pissed off. That's why I remember it so well. But I didn't freak out. I didn't say, oh my God, they're doing this just because I'm black. I acknowledge that I am on the internet. It is a marketplace of all kinds of diverse ideas. And I've been on the internet since I was like, I don't know, like, I don't even know, 14, I don't know, 12. I'm showing my age now. But it's like, at some point, you just get used to it. And
when you get to be my age, you start to lose your memory.
you start to lose your memory. Correct. Yes. Yes. So yeah, I just think that this is a waste of time. And I compared this to like a child throwing a tantrum. They're like, oh my God, I want to stream and I want to make content without any criticism, without any hate, without anyone being mean. That's utopia. It doesn't exist.
This is a straw man. It's not about wanting to stream without any hate or any criticism or any of those things. It was literally disruptive, literal bot level, just insane, incessant harassment, completely filtering the chat. The chat is a huge portion of the conversation, and you couldn't chat because the chat was just being filtered and just flooded with complete nonsense. So then you have to do things to say, nope, only followers, only people who have been following me for X amount of time can do this. But then that actually means that some of the people who haven't been following for that length of time can't do it. Then that means newcomers who are enjoying your content and coming in it, then they can't comment for a while, which can sometimes be off-putting for a person to come into a channel and want to say something or interact, and then find that they can't. It's like, oh, I'll just go somewhere else where I want an interaction. Because for a lot of people that are viewing the stream, it's the chatting with the other people, with the other chatters, is a huge portion of the relationship. There are people in chat in my stream back in the day that I recognize were closer to other chatters than they were to me, and that's perfectly fine. I was not upset or offended by that. That's just part of life. Like, that happened. But that's a factor. So then now you're hurting people's like newcomers. You're hurting some of the people who might have been around but not particularly long. Like, it's harmful. It's disruptive. It's literally taking away people's livelihoods. What are you talking about?
This isn't there.
It'll never be there.
It'll never be there.
I used to think like that. That's why I'm not really upset at streamers being mad about this. Like, I understand it. You want to be in this environment where it's you, it's your fan base, and you're all having a fun time. There's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, you're going to come across a dick, and the dick is going to really push your buttons. And you could either engage with them and give them the satisfaction of 15 minutes of acknowledgement. You can ignore them and let them fizzle out. Or a third option that I don't know about. Dealing with hate, because when I started this, at no point did I think everyone's going to agree with me because I'm saying the Lord's work and everything I'm saying is right, because that's pie in the sky reality for me. And I'm 18 saying this. Why are there grown adults, 25 and up, somehow struggling with the concept that there are dickheads on planet Earth that will?
That's not the problem. It's not the problem with having an occasional dickhead or a random person that's just not agreeing with you. It's a problem with literal electronic attacks on your channel aimed at harassing you and disrupting people's ability to chat and people's ability to interact with you. That's what this is. It's not just being mad at hate words. That's the problem, like you said, with having a conversation with two random people in here and echo chambering. You need a dissenting person so that you actually know this, or at least be familiar with the topic at hand, so you're not just speaking on something that you don't even understand.
Will see them and take the time out of their bored life to try to bother you. At that point, you have more, what would it be, clout, integrity, more audience. You're the person they want to get a rise out of. They want your attention. Don't give.
Can we talk about her look though? She is really good looking, right? Like, we're all there. This is a pretty chick. Just throwing that out there. She looked good as freak. And it's weird because I'm normally into like really traditional, really good girls. Like, that's what I'm into, right? So like, I don't know, like not a whole lot of makeup. Just like I'm not into like the Kim Kardashian type. I've always been into like really good girls. I've always talked to really good chicks, like at church, like the good girls. That's what I'm into. And this is not their look, but it looks really freaking good. I like it.
Give it to them.
Yeah. So it's interesting because like with Twitch doing this, I feel like they're setting creators up for failure in a way, which is odd because your goal is to make money. So you would want more creators to succeed. But again, I don't really know what their tactic is. But the way that I see it, it's like if mean words stop you in your tracks, how are you going to go far? Like, I feel like the difference between a creator that's able to go far in their field versus one that isn't is that one person has enough grit to just keep going and just overcome these obstacles. And I feel like with this lawsuit and just like catering to these mobs that are saying, oh, well, these are attacking marginalized creators, it's like you're asking for them to take care of something that realistically lots of other people have been able to deal with and persevere. Like you.
What?
I don't know that the same things were happening to him or her. I don't think either of them truly understand the situation.
Me?
Right there. You, yes.
Him?
No, you.
What are you talking about? I'm black, so obviously my life 24/7 has to suck.
Yes.
Remember, if you have any sort of achievements, what was the person that responded and was in your replies on Twitter a couple months ago? You're heavily insulated?
Oh, yes, I'm heavily insulated.
If you don't have a life that sucks, you're heavily insulated.
Terrible.
That's not the way things work. You can still succeed. My mother is particularly successful. My father is particularly successful, yet he was raised in freaking Florida and had to drink from a freaking black only fountain that was incredibly disgusting. He's like, yo, there was like literal growths and mold and all sorts of nonsense in this fountain. It was disgusting. Like he literally was at parades where the KKK marched. Like there was literally a race riot that the police had to step in because the black people were going to their school. This is my dad. That doesn't mean that he's not successful now. But just because he's successful now doesn't mean that he didn't have to work harder. Maybe he would be more successful had he not gone through that. But he's doing well. He's doing better than the average American. That does not mean that you weren't oppressed. God is good.
Is that the black experience? Is
Yeah.
that what it means to be black in any aspect? You got to wake up and suck. And what's worse, I'm thinking about doing a video where it's a tweet, where it's a black woman, not a white woman, not an ally, sitting there saying that you got a couple of experiences to do if you're black. Die, go to jail, be famous. Nothing else. Nothing. Not get no job, not have family, die, jail, famous. It's like, really? That's all y'all got for me?
I don't know what video they're talking about.
I can't even be a janitor. I can't be a school teacher. I can't be like a park coach. I just got to accept that sad reality. Like, no.
So I got something because you mentioned Twitter, our lovely place, our favorite place in the world. And this article goes on and to quote one of the streamers, and I want to read this to you. I don't know who this person is, but I guess there's someone that was involved with a boycott. And they say, I feel hopeful, says Raven, a streamer who goes by Wreck-It Raven on Twitch. Raven has been outspoken about the hate raids they continue to suffer through and helped coordinate both the Twitch Do Better and a day off Twitch movements. The people who are behind this need to be held accountable for their actions.
Wait a
now
minute.
listen to this, hold on. They've terrorized hundreds, if not thousands of people. If this were to happen in a physical location, we'd expect the same. It shouldn't be any different online. I always use that exact last line for an argument against cancel culture.
I'm going to say, I don't know about that. I don't know about what Wreck-It Raven was saying, but yeah, whatever.
What do you want to say? Go ahead. Go.
My man, Disparity just said what I was about to say.
What did he say? What?
The same person, this Wreck-It Raven, that was one of the spearheads that started the hashtags. Next day, she's going around trying to get partnered, and she got partnered. So it's like, you say all this. You want to be the beacon of change. You want to be the person that's calling out all the bad, but then you go ahead and get partnered by them. Money talks. Money allows it. Now, are you going to be in a position where you might be able to change something? Maybe, hopefully, but it looks kind of hypocritical, just a tad bit.
Here's the other thing too is, well, before I go into that, I wanted to say like her quote here, that's interesting though. Her quote where he says that if this were to happen in a physical location, we would expect the same. It wouldn't be any different. That's how I describe cancel culture. Like whenever I get attacked, usually by Twitch streamers, it's like in hordes of people. It's hundreds of streamers. And if I were to compare that to in real life, me sitting over here and a bunch of people getting up in my face, it would be the same shit. So how is it that it is bad in that scenario when it pertains to someone coming into your channel, but when you want to go on someone else's Twitter account and do the same shit, now it's fine?
There's a total big difference, right? Like if someone's like literally physically harassing you or physically threatening you, I do think it's significantly worse than like online. It is not the same thing. And I think it's also for someone to comment on your channel in a public space, which is every freaking channel in the comment section is a public forum, right? And for someone to go to a public forum and to say something to you that's not intentionally hateful, derisive, or degrading or dehumanizing or whatever, I don't think that that's necessarily a problem. Even a person disagreeing with you. Now, a person like doing the brigade, like hate brigade things where they're like literally telling their channel, hey, everybody go harass this guy, right? Like those kind of things, yes, that would be a little bit more harmful. I would think that would be more akin to something like someone harassing someone in the public space, physically threatening them or whatever. And that still wouldn't be the exact same, but I can understand how that would be more harassing, something that would be like that we would qualify as, again, this is problematic. But yeah, just commenting on someone's Twitter, I don't know exactly what she's getting at, but that sounds dumb.
It depends on the situation,
because
obviously.
It's my feelings, Gothix.
Yes.
Damn it. Do you not understand?
Sorry.
Listen. This to you is a camera. This to me is a beacon that I could use to speak to my black audience and my black audience only. This is a tool that I can use from the crevices of the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther's to create this system that I have so that I can speak to my marginalized community and let them know fucking whiteness is a pandemic. I can let them know that milk is the drink of white supremacy, which is the dumbest thing I've ever read.
I feel like that's a joke, but I think you're serious. Was that actual thing that came out? I missed that one.
That is from 2018. I saw that, and they were trying to make it that, we've seen more white people drinking milk. So what the fuck you want them to do? Drink water? Drink apple juice? Like you want them to stop drinking things? And even in the article, they said they need to find another drink. So you're not even creating a solution.
I don't know what they're talking about. I'm sorry. I gotta look this up really quickly. Let's see if we can find something. That sounds insane to me. Alarmed that white nationalists who are now using milk emojis and sharing photos of themselves chugging milk to celebrate their whiteness are confronting science and using it as an excuse to hate. In a recent article in the New York Times, Evolutionary biologists state that because of a genetic mutation among Europeans, white people are more likely to be able to digest lactose. White nationalists are arguing that being able to drink another animal's breast milk somehow indicates they are on the master race. Good grief. What? Of course, it's found that the genetic mutation that allows some humans to digest milk also occurs in black African cattle farmers. That should make racists think twice. All we can say is this: human supremacists need to start thinking about other species and interested in not being explored. Aside from lactose tolerant white supremacist, cow's milk really is a perfect drink of choice for all, even unwitting supremacists, since the dairy industry inflicts extreme violence on other. Oh, God. Rape is perhaps what is the single most heinous crime involving both power and violence. Bystanders procedure in the dark dairy. What did I just read? What happened? I feel like I was literally in another dimension. What just happened?
You're just saying, hey, you already contaminated this drink. Go to the next one.
That's stupid. That's so dumb. I can't. I'm upset.
But I think the fact that Peter's saying it, Peter wants people to be vegan and vegetarian. I guess it makes a little bit more sense why they would be like jumping on this complete nonsense to make this point. I think he should have included that Peter said it. Then we would have probably all tossed it out with the grain.
Yeah.
This person in the chat said they love the sarcasm. That's what the sign is for, buddy.
Yeah. That's what he does. That's what he does.
I'm good. I'm a wordsmith. I say these things. I craft them. It may take me like 8 tries to get it done, but the illusion is it's a one take. Shh, don't tell nobody.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, so that's the Twitch hate raid situation. I honestly, I don't understand it, and it's. I was actually planning on asking Twitch to drop my partnership badge. I don't really want it anymore. To be perfectly honest with you, I feel gross having the partnership badge because I worked my ass off to get it. Like I really worked hard to get it, and then I see all these people getting partnered because of George Floyd, because of BLM, because of Twitch movements. Why? Why?
Now Gothix,
Oh,
tell the truth.
That was because I was shucking and jiving. That's why, for my white viewers.
That was what I was going to ask you.
No?
I'm glad you brought that up.
What was it?
Did it take you 4 to 10 years to do it?
No, it only took me, I think, a year from when I started streaming. I think
a year.
a year. I think, yeah.
Yeah, you might have been catering to some white people.
I was definitely catering, yeah.
Like, and that 4 to 10 years thing, I'm gonna never let it die.
No.
Because I made that video. I wanted to make that video years ago. Like because I'd see like at random. It wasn't in mass. It was just some small content creators saying, "Oh, well, it's like being a black YouTuber," and each one bring up white people being the reason why it's stunting their growth. I'm like, huh? Your content is boring. Like I'm watching this. I'm trying to understand why it might suck for me being a black YouTuber. It is just bullshit. Like you just made an excuse that has no standing, no statistical information. But when I sit here and say you,
no, there's plenty of statistical information, and it's not necessarily rooted in racism per se. But what it is that people tend to want to view things that they identify with, right? Black people have a lot of in jokes and in whatever. It's no secret that the vast majority of my community, even all throughout the years, were people of color. Well, it tended to be that I came from fighting games originally, and fighting game players were predominantly people of color. The vast majority, I'm saying this clearly, the vast majority of fighting game players and the fighting game community are people of color. That's just the way that community was. It just always was. White people didn't go to arcades as frequently as black people did. White people were more likely to own consoles and computers and play computer games as opposed to arcades. That's just the way things are. That's why the vast majority of like successful fighting game players are black people. Anyway, in the United States anyway. Actually, they're I think the like headliners, most of them are people of color, and I think the vast majority of them are black. Anyway, so I think there's some problems here. When what people tend to watch what they want to watch, right? And like people, like black people, identify with other black people. Like when I find other black streamers, a lot of times the jokes and things that they tell are things that I identify with. There's like a cultural understanding, and so people tend to want to view someone that they feel like reflects them. And so white people are more likely to want to watch other white people. One, Twitch is already dominated by white people, and the fact that white people are less likely to want to watch black streamers and things like that is why it's just always going to be that way. Hey, hypocrisy with the host, with the raid. I'd super appreciate it, man. I almost never shout out people that raid me, but yeah, everybody check out Hypocrisy. I'm like a huge fan of his content. Please check him out. Actually really good. But yeah, that's just the way things are. It's not necessarily racist at all. I watch, if you look at who I'm following and who I'm subscribed to more black people. It's not because I don't like white people. It's just that people tend to associate with things that they more closely identify with. That in the content creation circles, that means that the vast majority of people are white. This is why like most of the things are like catered towards like those people, because those are the people that there are more of them than there are of us. So it makes all the sense in the world. That's just kind of where things happen. So I could see that being discouraging to people. Like you're gonna have to fight through it. That's just part of life. But I don't know.
Suck. There's ways for you to get better. Go hone your craft and then come back and you can actually make a dream a reality. Oh, shuck it and jive it. How dare you say this about us? I'm hurting the black community. It's like Am I though? What's
Mm.
more hurtful? Somebody looking you dead in the eyes right now and saying it'll take you 10 years to succeed, or
That's
somebody saying,
insulting.
yeah, you suck, but you can get better. All you got to do is realize you suck and fix what you
Right.
suck at.
That's
Do
it.
you
That's
think?
it.
You honestly think anybody in the chat, me or
Good for
Gothix,
you,
was
hypocrisy.
great day one? You're fooling yourselves. We had to overcome anxiety, actually trying to be in front of a camera, whether live or recording, and actually be entertaining. And that takes time. Unless you're really talented and you're able to do that out the gate, it's gonna take you a minute to get comfortable doing this. I
Yeah.
was not being able to be all sexy black YouTuber day one. I struggled to hold my phone in the right angle because I couldn't afford a camera stand.
There you go. There you go. I think people forget that. Like and this is what I noticed is we have a generation of people, and I say that specifically because I find that a lot of the streamers on Twitch tend to be like usually in the same age group. So I feel like it's like a generational thing, maybe. But again, I'm not sure. But I think that we have a lot of people in general that are addicted to instant gratification, and they see someone sitting at X amount of subs, you got the YouTube plaque, you got all this stuff, and they're like, oh, this guy is successful because of X, Y, and Z, or he's only successful because of this, and it's like.
What a backhanded
It's
shit
it's
to say.
it's backhanded, and then also it's like you're not considering the hard work that goes into that. You don't see anything that goes on behind the scenes. Like me, I used to work on Twitch. I used to work full time, come home after a 9-hour shift and stream for 4 hours. Those are long days, but people don't realize that. Like they don't see all the extra work that goes into it. And I think that, like you said, part of growth is admitting that you suck. And because once you admit that you suck, that allows you the ability to fix it, to grow, right? Because like when I first started streaming, this was like back on Twitch, I started off by copying other creators. I literally searched online popular female streamers because my mind was so narrow in that sense where I thought this is how a girl streamer is. This is what guy streamers do and whatever, whatever, whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna play Overwatch. And if I didn't stop to say to myself, Vanessa, you suck, I would have still been playing Overwatch to no viewers. So you gotta have that conversation. So I don't understand why people are afraid of that too. It's a little odd.
Sure, but I don't think that's all of the story, right? Because there are people who I would say maybe put out better content than other people, but aren't going to be as successful because they're black. Like that's just a fact of the matter. Like I think if all things are equal and people are working twice as hard, or like people are working at the same levels, you'll still find a difference, right? It's crazy to me that you can have a person like Dylan Burns who literally comes out with false allegations against another man, on a panel, and then still like people are still more willing to forgive and like and be on his content than they are on the other people. Like I would imagine, I would think if people had any sort of moral fiber, that they would go out of their way to support the person that this guy tried to attack and maybe hold the other person accountable, but they won't do that because people don't actually care. Like they just want their people are selfish. And I think Dylan Burns is incredibly selfish and disgusting and toxic for what he did and not really apologizing and not owning up and not keeping his end of the bargain that they had agreed upon on the apology and the way that he would apologize, and like really kind of sweeping an apology underneath the rug basically and just kind of like moving past it. I think it's gross. And Prime is still being hurt there. We've seen like the decline in some of his content. They're even, oh my God, it's really, really gross. Like there was a person, I'm not going into it, never mind.
I don't think it's really them being afraid. I think it's just they don't want to accept it. Like because, and maybe one aspect of it is the people around them, because there are individuals who got friend groups where it's all, and they all ask each other, and nobody wants to say the obvious. Hey, you're kind of making a mistake right there, and you kind of need to tweak something here. And look, this person said it perfectly. Know your weak spots. If you don't know where you're weak at, how you gonna get stronger?
Right.
If you don't know what things are lacking, how do you hope to improve? Do you think anyone, Gothix chat, anyone watching this after, do you think for a fucking second I had all this day one before I got this $1,000 computer to sit here and actually edit things on? I was recording on my phone, editing on my phone, processing on my phone, and uploading it to YouTube through my phone. And then I got a laptop and started doing it through there. And then I got GarageBand. I tried to use what's it called? Not iMovie Pro, but like Final Cut Pro, which was $300 a waste of money because it was too complex for me, and I wasn't even making videos that would warrant me needing that. My sound quality sucked. My camera quality sucked. I asked Gothix cameras, and she sent me one, and I ended up getting this one because it's quite glorious and cheap. I got a ring light. I got a bigger desk so that I can have more space to roam around. I got a fucking $700 dick microphone. I got an audio compressor.
So are you saying you did this gradually and you utilized your resources?
Exactly.
Huh.
I built this up so that I could afford all of this. This wasn't handed to me. I didn't, complain to a company on Twitter and say, because of Breonna Taylor, I need this thing so that I can be more represented in marginalized groups. I earned all this. You like how I worked that in?
I like how you work that in. I hope she's doing well. Yeah, I hope she's doing all right.
Isn't that how we connected though?
I think it was actually, yeah. And this is a really good moral that I can tell everyone. If you are a content creator, don't burn bridges. I don't think people should burn bridges in general because you never know whoever you're burning bridges with. That person could be writing your check in the future.
I got advice too.
Oh yeah.
Come close here.
Wait, why would you say F Breonna Taylor? I don't understand. Why would you say F Breonna Taylor? She was literally killed in her house, like having done nothing wrong. She was just a regular person. Oh, okay, I get it. The Flock wasn't part of Breonna Taylor. Okay. Still no justice for her. That's crazy.
Everybody,
oh,
don't,
shit,
don't use a fucking dead girl for a gaming console. You see this thing here? This is not worth using a dead girl. That's really it. Nothing else about the person, not hoping that person fails, nothing. Don't do that in order to get the damn thing. You could go on StockX. pay the extra $300 just to get it. You ain't got to do all that, because when you do that, people see that, people call you out, and you cry white supremacist like this person did. That's embarrassing. You look like a joke. I don't want you to fail. I don't hope you fail, but you are embarrassing.
He's very passionate right now.
It was very annoying.
So let me give everyone the skinny, because I know we got some people in here. They're like, "What the hell's going on?" So this ties into my moral of the story for all of you about not burning bridges. So when I was on Twitch before I started doing this stuff, I had already started to piss off a lot of the creators on that platform because I was already giving too many problematic opinions. And you know how leftists generally are. You know, I have met very few nice, like, with people that would just explicitly call themselves leftists. So far, most of my interactions with people have been very hostile, but black leftists specifically on that platform were just being hateful because of my opinions. And there was this one individual in particular.
Well, let's not talk about like the right canceling. What's her name? I never can remember her name. It was a white lady, and she like came out as like pro-life, and they instantly canceled her. Oh, Tommy Lahren. No, I'm sorry, pro-choice. Tommy Lahren, that happened too, and that other chick, that Trump called, I forget what he called her. She's a white chick. She used to be a newscaster on Fox News. And yes, she came out pro-choice, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're done." Or the Dixie chicks. Like, it's not like the right is like completely open up to everyone else's idea. Try to actually talk to them about like abortion and things. They'll just instantly call you a baby killer. Try to talk to them about gay rights. They'll just tell you that, you know, whatever it is. Like Megan Kelly is her name. I always forget. I always thought she was a pretty attractive lady. Anyway, yeah. When you want to talk to the right about any of those issues, they'll instantly cancel you or label you or whatever the freak, right? Like, so it's not like the right is completely tolerant or open to ideas. Try to actually engage with them in a conversation with Trump. Like, it's not worth it.
Where she had it out for me. I never had a conversation with this woman, and I didn't have no idea who she was, but she would go on Twitter and she would try to rally people up to like get people to report me for my opinions and stuff. And I'm like, I have no idea who this woman is. Anyway, long story short, this woman ended up trending, getting a lot of media attention because she went on Twitter and tweeted at Sony and Xbox and said, "Hey, I see you don't hire enough POC creators to review your products. Hashtag Breonna Taylor, hashtag Black Lives Matter. You should sponsor me." Now, two things about this. Number one, at the start of BLM, I saw this. Within a matter of a week, I saw a lot of black creators on the Twitch platform all of a sudden regress to just, I'm oppressed, woe is me, I'm victimized, systemic racism is affecting the view counts on Twitch because all the white people are getting views. Like, I saw that, and I said, this is going to go to everyone's head. So that's the first thing.
Wait, first off, I think it's accurate. Like, the fact that the vast majority of the successful streamers in this platform are white people makes all the sense in the world. Like, that's just the way things work. It just is. I've seen people put into work, increase their content, like literally stream like a year straight, just literally every day, consistent schedules, all of those things, and seen it not work out because guess what? They're black. Now, you can say that their content their content just sucks, but I know plenty of black people with incredibly high production values that just don't get the same amount of success. I'm telling you.
The second thing is with this individual is like the act of going on social media and tweeting out people. It's not standard. That is not typically how you go about making connections with companies. You go to their website, you fill out a form, maybe their LinkedIn. You don't do it like a public spectacle for the world to see because now you're putting pressure on that company to do something. And God forbid if Sony and Xbox roll back and said, no, we don't feel like sponsoring you, then it would have turned into what? Racist? Yeah, exactly. So look at him. Look at him. He's like, you good? You good? Someone get some milk. He needs some milk.
No, it's for white people. They denied me. How could they? It's because I'm black.
It's because you're black. Yeah, it has to be.
Speaking of which, I do want to do the thing that you told me to do with company unnamed because I don't want to jinx myself. I was just like, I have nerves. What if they look at me and say I'm too black?
No, they're not going to do that.
What they do it, Gothix, and then I have to come back. I have to come back to you and be like, you lied. They marginalized me.
I'm just gonna say this right now. If any creator tries to reach out to a company for sponsorships and they have a fear that they're gonna get denied specifically because they're gay or they're black or whatever, you don't deserve a sponsorship in the first place. No, I don't think you do.
Honestly.
Wait, having a fear that somebody might reject you because you're black means you automatically are disqualified from the thing. I think it can be a reasonable suspicion. We have plenty of data. There's a plurality of data that absolutely displays that people are significantly less likely to want to have sponsorship or to offer sponsorship to black people, even in if like successful black people. Like, you know, there was a study I remember a long time ago that talked about the fact that if the child had a black teacher, they were significantly less likely to be recommended for special ed. A white teacher. A gifted child with a white teacher was significantly less likely to be recommended for special needs program. For special programs, for gifted programs. So you can have a black kid and he can go through like two white teachers, like completely gifted, really excellent kid. He'll go through white teachers. Then when he gets to the first black teacher, the black teacher recognizes, dang, this kid's gifted and recommends him for the special programs. Meanwhile, you know, for white kids, it's like, man, you can see it happen normally earlier, like where their teachers recognize like this kid is gifted. Like it's just that there's so many things that like suggest this. It's pretty insane. We obviously have that big study that was talking about callback with black sounding names. Like the idea that like black people are not like want for opportunities, and that sometimes that we might be denied those things because of race. It's just, I don't know. It just seems so simple minded.
I'm bi. Spoiler alert for anyone who gives a fuck. I've never had that irrational fear of they're gonna do this because skin or who I decide to stick my dick in. It's mainly
Whoa, buddy, this is a Christian channel. Relax.
oh, holy, my bad. Oh,
Wait a minute. You realize like as bisexual, like people can't tell your sexuality, right? So that's not the same thing. Like to just be able to say, oh, because I'm bisexual, people like if he didn't say this right now, I would have no idea.
don't tell Christian. He's already mad at me. I swear too much. He doesn't like it. But everything that I really think about is all mental. Like if I'm able to get a video done, like, it's all mental. I'm not worried about, oh my god, is people gonna like it? It's more, can I in this manner get it done the way that makes me more comfortable? Because I see people doing things in a certain style that helps them, whether it's really them or if it's just them putting on a character. I'm just like, cool, do your thing. I never wanted to do that. I just always wanted to be myself, which kind of annoys me when people come in my DMs and be like, stop grifting, you N-word. And it's like, too bad that I'm actually this type of person off camera. Like, I'm not gonna be like and seen and then just be this person who's like, I hate all these white people. No, this is me. What you see right now in this weird shirt, I got the pink hat somewhere. That's legitimately me. I despise the phony characters and all that, but it's always been that mental block for me. Like, can I get it done?
Mhm.
That's why even though I really shouldn't, and I've slowly stopped doing it, I don't make 5 videos in a night anymore. I 2 months ago did, and part of it was fun, but then I'd be draining my battery, and then I keep all night, and it's like, damn, can I even do this? Like, am I able to sit down and actually record a video, or am I just gonna keep all night?
Well,
I think you're doing great. You're doing great, by the way.
I just want more.
pointing out like that you used to work really hard, like sure, but you recognize that there are other people who might not put in as much work and still can exceed that, like obtain higher whatever. But being comfortable where you are and being happy is great, and I'm all for that. And I don't think you have to use like your oppression as like some sort of like tool to constantly make you feel down. Like sometimes you can be motivated and recognize like I got where I got and I'm happy with what I got. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to identify when other people have better advantages. That's stupid to me.
Listen, this is my pitch. I'm a small content creator. I've never been able to
That's
succeed.
terrible. That's terrible.
What do you mean? Stop marginalizing me, madam. Hold on. Let me get my tears going.
Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing?
Let me get my
Yo, we
tears
got
going.
quarter black Garrett in the chat. Look at this.
I gotta get my tears
This
going.
man.
Hold on.
The man, the legend himself.
It's my quarterback brother. My quarterback brother. What? My
I don't know what you
quarter
said, but
black-
yes.
My quarter black brother. We're gonna be talking about Matilda soon. Because of course, if there's one movie a black guy likes, it's about a little white girl. But I'm crying right now. Help me. I'm such a small content creator. Give me all your subscriptions. Give me your money. I would
Honestly,
like it now.
that
Do
is
you,
like,
don't you see my tears? Hold on.
it's cringe.
You
I
want
would
more?
never sponsor any creator. Be careful. Be careful. What do you think
Help-
is going on?
Help me now. I need subscriptions.
I would never, if I had the power to sponsor people, I would delete that email because that is like, to me, that's manipulation. I'm poor. I'm marginalized. I'm woe is me. No, I want to hear your talent. I don't care about your sob story. Can you make
I agree. Trying to use that like I'm poor and marginalized and like oh I'm a black creator. You guys don't help enough black people. Therefore help me. I don't think that's good. If I was a company, if I did recognize like that is an accurate point, I wouldn't use a person that called me out like that.
me money? Yes or no? No? Okay, get out of my way. Like, that's all I care about.
I think it would have been around the time I had 50,000 subs. I got an email from this company that does sponsors, and they reached out to me. And they're like, hey, we see that you're growing, and we would like to see if you would want to do a sponsorship for a certain mobile game. I'm not going to say which game it is, but
Mhm.
if you're on YouTube long enough, you know what mobile game it is. And I was like, cool, never done it before. It'll be my first one. The money seemed good. So I responded back, hey, I'm interested. Well, what are the steps that I have to do? Oh, we got to reach out to them, show them your channel, show them like the content you make. And I was like, oh, Lord.
Mm,
And I never heard an email back. I was like,
But Gothix, I have all these oppression points I saved up. I can't do anything with those. I can't.
I also have. Do you see this water? Do you know how long it took me to get this water? It took me 30 years to get this water. I'm 22 years old. And it took me 30 years. The marginalized math is mathing right now.
Is he making a point that because he's on the right that they weren't willing to hire him? Because that might be true. And so then that thing, if it was really good money, it would mean that he would be making more money. So that sounds like that could be evidence of some sort of right-leaning marginalization for specific content creation or sponsorships for certain games, which I actually believe is true. Is he not going to acknowledge that? Simply saying yes, but I'm successful still, and I'm able to live on my own, and I'm still thriving or doing whatever. Sure, that doesn't mean that the other side's not being marginalized. Like that's what's crazy.
deserve. I demand. That's what it really is.
Let me ask you something. Then we gotta get to some super chats because it looks like we got some questions in here. You held up some water. As a black man, is it difficult for you to bring water to the polling stations when you were casting your vote? Is that how does that work out?
Oh
How do you figure that out?
God.
Gothix.
We're going off for 2 times
It's
here.
not that hard. This water, this is the smallest water you could possibly get. It's not that difficult. I'll bring 2. I don't really see, and I'm not where every
no,
polling
don't do
station
this.
is. I don't know how hectic the lines are. I don't know the temperatures in all these states. When I go vote, it's usually about 6 minutes. I go in, they find my name. Maybe there's a line. This is marginalized water. It's Nestle. I should be drinking Kentwood or Ozark.
No.
And it's like, it don't take me that long, so I don't really see the grip with it. But maybe somebody who's in like this big polling area and the lines are forever, maybe, yeah, you might want to bring water. I've never heard of a law stating that you can't have water in a line.
Well,
Explain
it's the
it.
voting ID laws they're trying to pass, and one of the bills is basically saying that it would prevent poll workers from giving out food or drink to people waiting in line. It's mostly as a like so they don't get bribed or something, or they don't try to convince them to vote for someone else. And the people who are calling who are talking about, I guess, they were against this bill, they're saying, oh, well, some people can't afford to bring water. Some people can't afford, don't have the time to bring water with them, as if like that's so
Oh,
difficult.
Excuse me? Oh, this ignorance is hurtful. Oh my God, and you're sharing it. Oh my Lord, you're not even, oh, she's not even embarrassed. She's saying it with her chest. Oh my God. So look, here's what happened with voter suppression. We've obviously witnessed God knows how much voter suppression in the past, but now voter suppression takes a different turn. In North Carolina, there was a law in which they asked for state data. I always bring this study up because it's so amazing to me because of the Supreme Court's verbiage. Um, they asked for voting data by race. And then once they got the data, they literally started looking and finding out how blacks voted and then eliminated those ways of voting. And so, like they were like, okay, good. Like we do all these things. This is the way black people vote. It'll like make it more difficult for them to vote. And sometimes for some people, making something slightly more difficult like discourages them from doing that. Here's something that's crazy. Did you know that for the average person, waiting on a phone for 2 minutes, like not for the average, a significant portion of people, after waiting on the phone for 2 minutes with customer service, they will hang up. So for some companies, they were found out to have just literally embedded it in the system that they would make you wait for 2 minutes for customer service, even if they had people available, because they knew that a significant portion would just hang up, and so then they wouldn't have to deal with that or deal with refunds or deal with any of the other problems associated with that. That's really really crazy. But here, first off, it's not saying that people. I hope, but some people might make these arguments because people are ignorant. Like the argument is not about whether or not people are too poor to bring water. It's the fact that we recognize that in some places where they start saying we're going to remove out of district polling, or like out of district voting, like so you can have like people in this area code are like registered to vote here, people in this area code are registered to vote here, all in the same city. And so then what happens is if one place is overloaded, people will just go to the other place which doesn't seem to be overloaded and go vote there. So then what places will do is they will shut down the vast majority of the voting polls in one area, and then so then you all have to go to one area, right? And so a disproportionate amount of people are going to this area, like in the black side of town. And then now at this point, the line is incredibly long where people have to wait 6, 8, and 10 hours to vote, which of course will discourage a lot of people because they just don't have the time to go because voting isn't a holiday. And so they will wait all of that amount of time to vote. And so then as they do that, then that means now these people are hungry, they're thirsty. Sometimes it's like literally hot outside and or really freezing cold. But yeah, people are dehydrated, whatever. And so then what they will do is then they will say, good. So now that you can't vote, um, I mean, yeah. So poll workers can say, "Oh, well, you guys are really thirsty. We'll just give you guys water to encourage you guys to continue to stand in this line." So then now they're trying to pass laws to stop people from being able to do that. But why would you need water in a line unless the line was going to be incredibly long? Do you think it should take ten hours to vote? Should it take hours to vote? Yeah, in certain neighborhoods, it can be as short as 6 minutes. It was like that for me, but I live in the rich side of town now. I think we know that these kind of things happen. It's crazy to me that you would make the argument about whether or not they can afford to bring water. You really think that people are going to be able to bribe someone to vote for a candidate with water? Hey, here's a water, so I'll take it you're voting for Trump now. Who? In what universe?
What do you mean time? A Walmart exists, Walgreens exists, gas stations got water. You got the time to get the water. Now I can understand money being tight, especially during this,
Yeah, Fiji, you
pandemic.
get me. You're right. I will support
But,
Trump
but
for
let's not
Fiji.
act as if water is the holy grail.
Hmm.
Let's not act as if water is the same equivalent to gold.
You could just
Well, if water isn't the Holy Grail and isn't the equivalent to gold, then what's the problem with allowing poll workers to pass out water to people waiting in line? It's not that big a deal. It's not the Holy Grail. It's easy to access. We have Walmart and Walgreens and gas stations and everywhere else. Then why is it a problem for poll workers to hand out water? If it's something that's so readily accessible and easy to obtain, then it probably wouldn't gain people a lot of leverage in convincing someone to vote for someone else, right? Why would you pass that? Think about it.
Just take a pot outside and just wait for the rain too, if you want to go that route.
Absolutely,
That,
I don't
hypocrisy.
know about that.
Water.
Hey, I mean, if
That's
you really
crazy. She's like, yeah, you know, you don't want them to be able to bribe people with water and da 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 da. And he said, water's the easiest thing to get in the world. They're literally contradicting each other. What the freak?
bougie like I used to be, you got a sink.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
But that's bougie.
Got a sink.
You
So
gotta
let me
see.
read some of these super chats really quick. We got some questions from the audience.
All right, we're done with this. This is crazy to me. Oh my God, they call it the grift. And I don't think that they're grifting. I just don't know if they're thinking about these things or if they've been challenged on these things. We gotta have a conversation. This is crazy. It's like where they were creating voter ID laws in certain places and they shut down the DMV in the like local region so that people had to travel over an hour to go get an ID. That happened. Like that, they're doing these kind of things all the time, man. Crazy. I don't know that there's not people knowing how to listen to conversation because this isn't a conversation. Well, you're right. Actually, they're conversing with each other and literally saying the opposite. And it's a thing. Never mind. You're absolutely right. You could take a pot outside and wait for it to rain. Yeah, this is crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know how you guys think. If you want, watch the rest of this video. I'll link it. This is, you tell me if there's anything else that needs to be covered. If it continues on, I guess when you start kind of getting into chat comments, I'm not really gonna go over that. Hope you guys appreciate the content. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my music, Fanatiq, on all platforms. Look out my official music video for Magenta Skies on YouTube. It's a different channel. Fanatiq Magenta Skies, YouTube, you'll find it. Peace.